The year is 2019, and Taylor Swift just released her 7th studio album, Lover. The album is a major success, selling 867,000 copies in its first week alone. Taylor is seeing all the money flood into her bank account and decides to announce an accompanying tour called Loverfest that starts on June 20th, 2020. Day by day, the hype is building up for the tour. Fans are itching to see Taylor back on the big stage as tickets are selling like hotcakes. Oh, what's that? There's some virus across the world that's raising concern among top scientists? Psh, surely it'll be contained and won't cause a global pandemic that will shut down the world. Well, at least we got 2 good albums out of it. Taylor Swift's Loverfest was just a victim of being in the wrong place at the wrong time, succumbing to the pandemic like a lot of other tours at the time. Yet this may have been a blessing for our Goddess of Capitalism, as this gave her several years to come up with a new tour, one that could be even better than Loverfest. All of this brainstorming eventually led to the creation of the Aeries Tour, where she would highlight her nearly 20-year career by making each of her 11 studio albums an era for the tour. For all of my 5 subscribers who play Super Smash Bros, this was kind of like her Everyone Is Here moment. The tour was revealed on November 1st, 2022 during Good Morning America, with 27 dates across the US. All of the openers were revealed too, with big names like Paramore, Phoebe Bridgers, Muna, and Gracie Abrams sharing some time in the spotlight. In the weeks following the announcement, Taylor added 25 more shows due to popular demand, making it the most extensive tour of her career before it even began. There were even talks between her and the crypto exchange company FTX for a staggering $100 million partnership. Ultimately, this partnership fell through due to the founder of FTX, Sam Bankman-Fried, pulling out of the deal. You may be asking, why did he pull out of a deal with the biggest pop star in the world? Oh, I don't know, maybe he was involved in several fraudulent schemes that would eventually lead him to a 25-year prison sentence? Honestly, it's a blessing this partnership didn't work out, because it would have been tough for Taylor to shake the fraud and scammer allegations. But to be fair, I don't think she would have cared, knowing she just made a free bag that none of us will ever see in our lifetimes. Anyways, after months of anticipation and restless nights from the Swifties, the tour finally began in Glendale, Arizona, Swift City, on March 17th, 2023. To say that this tour was a success would be the understatement of a lifetime. While I've been looking back at the success of this tour, I just have to give Taylor her props in this section. She was able to use one of the simplest strategies to make all of the money in the world, being our old friend, nostalgia. Nowadays, companies are using nostalgia left and right to itch certain parts of our brains to get us to remember the good old days. Oh, and they also want our money. Taylor and her team know that life was simpler when you were on a road trip with your family, listening to Love Story and You Belong With Me, instead of working a 9 to 5 at Taco Bell and getting screamed at by an old man because his nacho fries weren't fresh. True story, by the way. Even outside of nostalgia, people were fiending for this tour since it was her first tour in 5 years. I also can't forget to mention the movie that was made from her SoFi Stadium shows, which grossed over $250 million at the box office. According to Variety, Taylor took home around 57% of the ticket sales, meaning she casually made like $142 million just from some recordings of these shows. Later on in 2024, she released a Target exclusive Aeries Tour book on Black Friday that sold 814,000 copies in its first weekend at $39.99 a pop. I think it's pretty wild selling a tour book for that much, but the price didn't even deter people from buying it. Doing some quick math, the sales amount comes out to $32.6 million made in just one weekend. These numbers still pale in comparison to what she made from the first leg of the tour, as Forbes estimated that Taylor made an astounding $305 million from just March to August 2023. The Goddess of Capitalism was just printing money in 2023. However, this is still the tip of the iceberg when it comes to the tour's earnings. From June to November 2023, international tour dates would finally be announced, with shows in Mexico, Brazil, Asia, Australia, and Europe. In August, the second US leg of the tour would be announced as well. The biggest surprise for me from all of these announcements was that Paramore was going to be the opener for the entire Europe leg of the tour. I'm just glad that my favorite band got the opportunity to do something like this and show people why they deserve their flowers. Shameless plug, but you should also go check out the Paramore Iceberg videos I made after this video. Getting back on track, the tour ended up having a total of 149 shows across 51 stadiums and lasted for nearly 2 years. A few shows got canceled along the way due to some unforeseen circumstances that I'll talk about later, but after almost 2 years of touring, the Aeries Tour made a record-breaking $2.2 billion with a B. Taylor found several ways to turn this long-awaited tour into an infinite money glitch. It is by far the most money ever made by any concert tour. Another big aspect of this tour was the surprise songs. At each stop of the tour, Taylor picked surprise songs to play that weren't on the set list. This led her fans to predict which songs would be played in each section of every show. Now, is this a FOMO tactic? Not necessarily, since a lot of other artists do this for their concerts too. An app developer named Kyle Muma, I hope that's how you pronounce his name, even made an app named Swift Alert that would let fans know when each era was about to start for every show, so they could tune in to live streams from the show. There were also giveaways if fans predicted which dress Taylor was going to wear and the surprise songs that would be played. While a lot of things went well for this mega success of a tour, not everything was sunshine and rainbows in Taylorland. One of the biggest hurdles for this tour to jump over was the Ticketmaster situation, as it became very hard for people to get affordable tickets, let alone even get the opportunity to go to any concerts. When the first leg of the US tour went on sale, over 3.5 million people signed up for Ticketmaster's verified fan presale program. However, in the first hour of sales, the entire website crashed, leaving users in frozen queues or just signing them out altogether. Believe it or not, I actually have firsthand experience from the situation, but I wasn't buying tickets for myself. I was trying to help a friend get tickets for 2 separate shows, which proved to be an enormous pain in the ass since the website kept freezing and I was stuck on it all day. Let's just say it was starting to seem like peak delusion trying to get these tickets. But we eventually broke through, and she probably paid more than she needed to for those tickets. I just know the intern that day was sweating bullets trying to figure out what was going on with the servers. Anyways, Ticketmaster would soon put out a statement saying that the crash was due to historically unprecedented demand, with millions of people showing up to buy tickets. Looking at the comments for this post cracks me up because people are just on their ass left and right, and rightfully so. I have my own grievances with Ticketmaster because of their random fees and how they have a monopoly in the concert industry. Like, Ticketmaster will damn near hit you with a fee just for breathing in a stadium. Also, how the hell was the largest ticket selling corporation in the world not prepared for this to happen? They had to know about the tour since Taylor's team would have had to talk to them to get everything set up. This situation was so detrimental to Ticketmaster that their parent company, Live Nation, had to cancel the general sale due to insufficient inventory. Ironically enough, this wasn't even the worst thing to happen to them, as they ended up in a lot of trouble with former President Joe Biden and the FTC. We all know that your days as a monopolized corporation are numbered when the FTC gets involved. This pressure from Biden and the FTC led Ticketmaster to abolish junk fees and show their customers all the fees up front. On top of this, the entire US government, with a cosign from 29 states, filed an antitrust lawsuit against both Live Nation and Ticketmaster, alleging that their unlawful business practices have been detrimental to the live music industry. They were even seeking to dissolve the merger between the two, but under the new administration, I don't know if that's a possibility anymore. Honestly, I think it would be a great service to the American people if Ticketmaster lost this chokehold on the ticket industry. I just feel like it's harder than ever to attend concerts due to how expensive tickets have gotten, and there's plenty of evidence to show this. Exorbitant fees, inflation, and high demand are a combo of doom when it comes to going to live events nowadays. But let's just get back to the mishaps with this tour before this turns into an economics lecture. Now, this next situation is a very serious and unfortunate one, as one of her fans, Anna Clara Benavides, passed out during Taylor's November 17th, 2023 concert in Rio. Sadly, Anna died hours later from heat exhaustion at a local hospital. On top of this, many of the fans at the concert accused the organizers of failing to deliver enough water supplies, as over 60,000 people were in attendance, with the temperature that day being around 105 degrees. They also shared that they could not take their own water into the stadium, with one fan on Reddit revealing that the stadium was charging 10 Brazilian reals for a 230 milliliter cup of water. That's less than a full cup. Charging $10 for that little amount of water should be illegal, no matter the currency. Especially in a situation like this where people are literally passing out and someone died. The stadium security team didn't even start passing out free water until Taylor called them out, which most of the people in the crowd didn't get. Also, Taylor's personal team gave out most of the free water, so it's safe to say that this situation wasn't Taylor's fault whatsoever. It was very irresponsible of the stadium not to provide enough water, considering the extreme temperatures that day. The last major bump along the road for the tour came with her Vienna shows, and it was frightening to say the least. On August 7, 2024, Barracuda Music, an Austrian concert promoter, announced that the 3 Aeries Tour shows scheduled at the Ernst Happel Stadium would be cancelled over an apparent terrorist plot. Austrian authorities soon revealed more information about the plot, leading to the arrest of 3 teenagers, including one who was found with bomb-making material. Later on in the month, former Deputy Director of the CIA, David S. Cohen, shared an update on the investigation, revealing that the suspects were planning to kill a huge amount of people. It was estimated that around 200,000 people were expected to attend these shows, so it would have been a disturbing amount of people. I remember when the news broke about this situation, and I just felt an immense mix of shock and overwhelming relief. It's just so shitty and evil that a group of teenagers were plotting such a heinous act. It's honestly situations like this that stop some people from even going to large events. It can even lead to agoraphobia. Even before this situation unfolded, I was seeing pictures from some of the European shows with people filling up tall hills outside the venue. It just makes me wonder why security wasn't tighter outside, but maybe there are area restrictions or something I don't know about. Once the European leg of the tour wrapped up, Taylor would finally break her silence on the situation with a lengthy Instagram post detailing her fear, gratefulness, and even guilt from the cancellations. One part of this post that stood out to me was her acknowledging that she didn't want to speak about it publicly until the European leg was over, since it might have provoked people to plan more attacks. She wrote, and I quote, "In cases like this one, silence is actually showing restraint and waiting to express yourself at a time when it's right to. My priority was finishing our European tour safely, and it is with great relief that I can say we did that." I honestly understand Taylor holding off on speaking about this situation because she was worried about the safety of herself and her fans, as well as the fact that the case was still being investigated. To say that this tour was easy sailing for Taylor would honestly be a lie, yet for such a long tour, it's honestly miraculous that more didn't go wrong with it. In my last video about Taylor, I briefly mentioned some of the good things she's done with her money, with one of them being the bonuses she gave out to the Aeries Tour crew. Throughout the tour, Taylor gave out an astounding $197 million in bonuses to her team, including truck drivers, caterers, lighting, sound, production stuff, and many more. On top of that, the tour boosted the economies of nearly every place she visited. Destination Vancouver, a tourism agency based in Vancouver, Canada, estimated that the last 3 dates on the tour would boost the city's economy by over $157 million. Lord Mayor Sally Cap, what a name by the way, of Melbourne, Australia, told the Australian Broadcasting Company that the tour would generate 1.2 billion in Australian dollars for Melbourne alone, equaling to around 766 million US dollars. For her 8 shows in London, she generated an estimated 300 million pounds for the local economy, which would be around 380 million US dollars. It's just hard to admit that Taylor isn't leaving a trail of money everywhere she goes. The impact she made with this tour not only brought millions of dollars to cities around the world, but is already starting to influence other artists to have similar tours. The most recent one I can think of is the Lifetime's tour by Katy Perry, where she'll play her hit songs across her discography. By the way, boo tomato to Katy Perry, man. Like, how the hell are you still working with Dr. Luke, bruh? Don't he got a case? Anyways, is Taylor the first person to have a tour like this? No. Greatest Hits tours have been around for decades, but Taylor was able to put an interesting spin on the concept. The success of this tour will surely bring about a slew of other tours from artists with historic discographies. There will probably be a lot of cash grabs though, since I don't think they'll be able to replicate the quality of the Aeries Tour. Over the past 2 years, seeing anything related to the Aeries Tour was nearly unavoidable due to the sheer amount of people talking about it online, those you know who that went to a concert, or the people you'd see walking around wearing one of the shirts. It's honestly became an era of its own when it comes to modern day tours. To those who watched the first video in the series, being the Queen of Capitalism, you may think that this video was a complete opposite of that one, since I'm not being critical of Taylor and I'm actually giving her props. I honestly just wanted to highlight the Aeries Tour as a whole, since its importance and success in recent concert history deserves to be documented. On top of this, I wanted to reiterate the idea of Taylor bringing music and business together to become one of the richest people in the world. Everything culminating from the previous video to this one shows how far Taylor has come as a musician, but also how she has become the goddess of capitalism. The questionable business practices are definitely still there, but not as much for this tour, I feel like. Whatever she does next, there will be droves of people lining up to dish out their hard-earned dollars as a means to bow down to her. Anyways, I hope y'all are doing good in life, and please do great things every day. Thank you for watching.